Hey there, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today's video is going to be part of our series of Dear Future Homemakers of America. And I'm going through as a mom, my name is Amy by the way, mom of 10 kids, raised them all, had them all, and I feel like as a mom, I know that sometimes I falter in things that I teach my children. I know I have, I'm sure I have, I know I have. And I think that how much more in our society are our future generations not being taught the basics of keeping a home. So I title it Dear Future Homemakers, but I feel like it's for anybody. It can be anybody because you may have not had a parent that taught you how to do certain things, or maybe you just weren't taught that at all because you were busy doing other things in life, and that is completely okay. No shame in anything. I know if I was watching a video on someone that was working in a business world, and then I had no idea what they were talking about, but it's not that it's shameful. It's just that we are doing different things. I've been in the home for most of my life here, running a home and trying to do the best that I can do. And I've learned some tips and tricks over the years. And so I feel like I can share some knowledge. I'm not perfect, absolutely not perfect. And I don't have everything all figured out, but I do have some basics down that I think are going to help you in your days. So whether you've been doing this forever, or maybe you just have no idea how to do it, this video is going to be for you. So today I'm going to be talking about something that is a very small part of running a household, but something that you need to do pretty much every single day or every other day or maybe once a week depending on your lifestyle. And it's how to do your laundry. So laundry can pile up real quick in a household. I've been to many households, and most of those households always have a huge pile of laundry going. They always have tons of laundry to do. And if you talk to moms, they're always like, oh, I've got so much laundry. And I've been there as well. So how can you run your home effectively and efficiently when you got a lot of people, or even just how to do it in general? That's what we're going to talk about today. So you ready? All right, let's go. So why does a laundry system matter? Like, what is the point of a laundry system? You have to remember that laundry just isn't about clean clothes. It's about stewardship and taking care of the things that we are blessed with, the things that we have in our possession. Whether you thrift your clothes, which I do, whether you buy them new, which I do too, or whether they're hand-me-downs, no matter how you get your clothes, if you take care of them properly, they're gonna last much longer. And when you have a system, laundry becomes manageable. You don't get behind, you don't feel defeated, and your family always has what they need. And it's not about perfection, this is about peace. So first up, you wanna create a routine. You wanna set up your laundry system and how often and how and when you do your laundry. Are you an all-in-one day, get everything done kind of person, or a little bit every single day? Both work. It just depends on your family size, your water usage, and your lifestyle. Some things to consider on how often you do laundry, some things that I've had to be aware of over the years is your water system. Like if you have a septic system, you have to think about that. If you have a large family and you're doing a whole lot of laundry, you got to think about if you do it all in one day, that's going to put a lot of strain on your septic. So it's probably better to space it out, versus doing it all in one day and just flooding your septic system. Think about that. If you're a working mama outside the home, or maybe even in the home, and you're working full time, maybe the weekends are gonna be your best choice for doing laundry. And maybe you're a homeschool mom, maybe you're at home taking care of your kids, maybe doing a couple loads every single morning is your best choice. However that looks in your family, just some considerations to think about when you're gonna be doing your laundry the best. And I'm gonna give you, as always with these videos, a whole pack of freebies that are going to be able to help you set up your laundry system, maybe track the way you do laundry, track the amount of water you use, all those good things. Link below in the description box for free. Now, step number 2 is organizing your laundry area. Let's talk about the space. You don't need a huge laundry room to do your laundry at all. We have a room right here, and it's not as big as most people's rooms, but it is a room separate from our house currently. But I've had laundry rooms where it was just inside like a cutout, like a closet area, where I didn't have a lot of extra space in there. I've had it where it was just down a long hallway, pretty much a useless area that we had to kind of make our own and make it able to work for us. I've had it where it's been in the basement of the home, all different areas of the home. So it depends on your space. So instead of going out and going, you know what, I need the best of the best, I need you to rip this all out and set it all up. Like the setup I have right now is not very efficient for what I need, but you just make it work. So what are some areas that you need in your laundry room if you can set up? You want to have space for your detergents. So for mine, however this looks in your house, we have a shelf right here. This shelf is dedicated to holding my laundry soap and holding my supplies right here. We also have cabinets we can put it in. But for myself, it's not very feasible to keep them in the cabinets because I have to use them pretty much every day. My kids use them every day. So having them right here is a whole lot better. We had in our old house, it was a cutout like in a closet down a hallway, and we had some shelves on there, and I just had the shelves moved down a little bit so that I was able to have my laundry soap right above my washer. So this washing machine holds the soap beforehand, but my other one I just opened it up and I had it perfectly set. So all I did was pull it to the edge and push the button and fill up my washing machine. That worked really good. So however that is, maybe it's looking like this, maybe it's a cart in your room. I don't know. Think about installing maybe a shelf on the side. If you're not very handy or frugal, look on Amazon. There's always something you can buy. So think like on the sides of your wall, like maybe there's some place that you can stick just a little shelf. Make sure you put it in a stud so it doesn't fall off. Remember to look for the stud and then have your soap on there. However that looks in your room. Another good thing to have in your laundry room is a basket. This basket is one that kind of stays back here all the time. Now, this all depends on how your home is set up. For us, when we had a lot of little kids, we had a centralized laundry hamper in a hallway. So when everybody was done with their showers and getting ready, they threw all their laundry into that hamper. And then, however many times I had to do it, like every couple days, laundry, I'd grab it and we would bring it back to our laundry room. Now in our other laundry room at one of our homes, we had 3 hampers, and we had one for lights, we had one for darks, and we had one for towels. And so as we took that big bin, we dumped it into the 3 hampers that were in the laundry room to sort, and then myself as the mom would come back here and go, oh, the lights are full, let me throw that in this morning, or oh, the towels are full, let me throw that in this morning. It depends. Now my kids are getting older. They do most everybody does their own laundry, and so what they do is they have their own hampers in their bedrooms, and so, or in their bathrooms, wherever they want to choose to have it, and then each child just brings their own down and they throw their laundry in and take it out. But as a mom, I also have my own hamper. I have one for my husband as well, but there's towels and beach stuff and pool stuff, and so not having a basket back here was, I was like, oh, I need to definitely have one back here. So like right here, these are towels that came out of the dryer and put up on top here so we know that we can fold them. So having an extra basket is very helpful. I've bought many baskets over the years. I bought the cheap round plastic ones that break really easy, and I found that the little heavier duty ones work nice. But if you don't have the space or anything to hold it, you got to do what you got to do in your home. I know in one of our first homes, there was not a lot of space, so I had to do the round ones because I had to squish them all together. And then in my last home, we had a space, and the baskets were kind of up high, kind of out of the way, but I was able to put the baskets up there. So when the laundry was done, I would take it and shove in those baskets, and the kids would have to take them down and put them away. But laundry, it depends on what your home is and how it's set up. So having this basket here is helpful because this is clean. Everybody knows this is clean laundry, so don't mess it up with the dirty stuff. And so for myself, I put my dirty stuff right in a pile on the floor here, and then we usually throw it in, or I set it in the washer with the door open, and we kind of throw it in that way. So however that looks in your home. Another thing that's helpful is having a clean space to fold your laundry, or if you do fold it. I don't know. Myself, as a busy mom, I don't fold my laundry. You know what I do? I take the dresses, the shirts, things that have to be nice, and as soon as they come out of the washer, I hang them up, and I have a rack that hangs over my door here, right here. This just fits. This works really well. It's just an over the door rack. It's, if you have a door that you can put them on. In one of our old homes, what I did is I installed a shower bar across here, like in my, it was like I said, it was in a cutout closet like area in the hallway. That's how it was. And so I just had a bar installed, and then I hung up all the laundry inside on that bar. That worked good too. It just depends again. So whenever I have nice shirts and dresses, I hang those up, and my kids do the same thing. My girls do, the boys don't. The rest just goes directly into the dryer. And then what we do is just throw them back in the bin, and then they take them to the room and they put them away. But if you are the mom and have to fold everything, I again would never even fold the laundry. I would take not when I pull out of the dryer, I would take and hang up the girls' dresses and the boys if they had nice shirts. The rest I just take into the bin, and when I went to their bedroom, I would take them and put them away that way. Even in my drawers, they are not folded, except like if they were pants for boys and t-shirts, things like that, I would fold it. But for myself, pajamas, leggings, we don't fold those. We just throw those in the drawer. So the only thing that's folded is towels. So if you have an area you could do that at, that's good. In my old house in the mountains, I would kind of set it up. I didn't have any space but just my washer and dryer. So if we folded them right there and put them in the basket nice and neat, that's fine. What we do is we take this to our ottoman. We dump it there, and that's where we fold laundry. If you've got a flat area that's clean, your bed, that works really good. Probably off the floor is best, but you know, you got to do what you got to do in your home. So having one area, one time back in the day, every day after we did all the laundry, I'd have it all in baskets. By the afternoon, about 4 o'clock, we'd take all the baskets from the living room, dump them all over the floor, and then we'd sit and have a folding fest. And then we folded everything and put it all away. That's how we did laundry. And it was one day a week. So whatever that looks like in your home. So having a place to be able to hang is a nice thing. Think shower tension bar or over the door rack like that. One thing that are nice for having hampers for laundry, we have had the hard ones. Now we had a lot of, when there's a lot of wear and tear and a lot of kids grabbing the hampers, the big plastic hampers worked well because we had one in the hallway. Everybody threw their stuff in there, and so I needed good and sturdy. So now what we have is like a collapsible bag, and these work out very well. We've had these for years, and they have lasted very, very well. I didn't really think these kinds would last, but they have done quite well in our family, because you know, laundry is going to get a little moldy, like baskets get moldy. They do. We lived in the South. We live in Florida. It happens, and so these ones in particular, I'm able to take, if it gets moldy on the bottom, I'm able to take it outside and spray it with a little bit of bleach, and it goes away, and it doesn't take away the design of the bag. So that's very nice. So this is nice because you know what you can do with this? You can, it doesn't like fold or close, but if you have to like disguise this because you don't want anybody to see it, you can kind of shove it down. It will kind of collapse into areas. Got laundry in right now. So you can kind of hide it, you know, like in a closet or out of the way. If it's not full, you can do that. So this works really well for that. We've had the mesh type bags. Those ones have ripped, always ripped. Baskets, when you have teenagers that do their laundry and wait. The flimsier type ones, I've always had those break. Always had those break. The sturdier ones like these do last, but again, you have to have a place for a sturdy basket. So usually we end up losing the handles on it, but that's okay. So these kind of hampers work well for our family. So everybody has one of these. They're in the bathroom, and it just works. We do have a nice plastic one in the bedroom, but that's just mine, and we take care of it. So I'm not worried about that. It's in the closet, out of way, out of sight, out of mind. So however that looks for your home, but if you need a collapsible one, this works really well because it's able to just like smush it down, stick it somewhere if you have to, or if you have to take it with you, it's easy to collapse and take with you versus like a bigger basket. So make sure you get a hamper to put all your dirty laundry in. Okay, step 3 is the art of separation. Have you been ever taught to separate your laundry, or are you throw everything in the laundry kind of person? I don't know. I know my kids, and even myself once in a while, they'll just mostly throw everything together, and I always say, don't, you're gonna get balls on your clothing, or you're gonna make it look dingy. And so some generations are just gonna throw everything together, and that's okay. But I have learned, I have grown up, I know my mom would say separate, don't ever put a towel in with your laundry. Whereas a large family mom, I'm like, I gotta throw a couple towels in there because it's gonna work. Let me share with you, when you're washing your clothes, the towels do get the fuzzy stuff, and it's gonna get on your clothing. If you wash darks like jeans and dark clothes with white socks and that, they're gonna get dingy. If you wash anything with your white clothing that's not white, it's gonna get a little dingy over the time, and it's just gonna look blah. So if you really want your stuff to stay nice, wash it separately. I know most washing machines are made now for like water savers, and you can do such a small load that you can throw it in. It's no big deal to like just wash one shirt. Back in the day, you had the big drum ones. You had to fill up the whole thing, so it was a waste. So we would wash always like the lighter stuff like in the sink. We would just get like put in and fill up the sink in the bathroom with a little bit of soap in there and just kind of hand wash it that way and then hang up. So however that looks in your home, but for the most part, most washers are equipped to just put a little bit of water in there so you're able to do it. So, but separation of laundry, this is a game changer for you. Okay, you ready? So what you do is you separate your darks. You want your darks, your jeans. Those are going to be dark things. I always tell my kids, even red, like if you get red t-shirts, red sweatshirts, most red, not all red, most bright red things bleed. I have found that. I've had blue things bleed as well. So try to do them in darks right here. If you have a shirt that you think is going to bleed, don't wash it with anything because you know it's going to bleed. But if you have to, put it with darks because it's not really going to affect the dark stuff too much. So keep your darks in a pot. Then you want to do your lighter color clothes. Yes, this is black and white, but it's mostly light. So this is like girl stuff, light stuff that's like airy, not like jeans and heavy. So they're light stuff. And then you've got your towels right here. So towels always go separate. Now I'm not afraid to take a towel like this and throw it in the dark pile. It's blue. We've washed these for the last 10 years and they've been great. I know it's not going to ruin anything. Throw it in with the dark towels. That's okay. I could even throw it in with my lights, but I probably would not. I would throw like a couple washcloths in here, things like that, just because these are a little bit more delicate clothing, I say, than like jeans and like guy shirts and guy shorts. Does that make sense with things? So if you've got darks, wash just darks. If you can do lights, do lights. If I start mixing these with this, they are gonna get a little dingy. It's gonna happen. It's just a natural part of the life, and your stuff's gonna look dingy and dirty, and you're like, oh, why does this shirt look so yucky? Because you blended everything together. So try to keep it separate. Try to keep your towels separate as well if you can. But if you cannot, try to do your towels like with jeans, things like that. And I always tell my kids, if they're doing like shoes, don't just throw your shoes in the washer. Put them in like with towels. Put them in with a couple pairs of jeans. Something to rub up against them so they can kind of scrub and keep them clean. And also, if you're going to wash your bedding, keep that separate from everything, because bedding is long. And if you throw like a washcloth in it, the washcloth's just going to get wrapped up inside of it, and it's going to get all mixed in. If you can keep it separate, throw that in separately in your wash. And if you have stuff real delicate, like light dainty sweaters, maybe a light silky top, hand wash it. Maybe your undergarments, your bras and that, they do last longer if you hand wash them. I know that most would just throw them in the washer, and that's fine. Hand washing and hanging up to dry is a good thing. It takes just an extra few minutes, but then you're done and you can hang them up. You're gonna make it last for a lot longer. Step number 4, how to wash smart. Let's talk about washing machine settings and doing what you can do to save yourself some money when you're doing laundry. Because when you get these newfangled devices, there is so many different choices for washer. It can be overwhelming. I remember the old school, I'm older, old school drums where it just had like quick, it was like long, heavy load. I think it was just regular load, and they had a small one. That's it. 3 choices. You didn't get all these different options to do with laundry, and nowadays you do. So how can you keep it simple? Let me give you a quick tip here. Okay, something I learned way back in the day when I first started, and I was like, really? And everybody else I knew was using the different temperature. Wash your clothes in cold water. Everything in cold water. Do you know what it saves? It's going to save you a whole lot of money, because when you don't use cold water, that water has to get heated somehow. You know who has to pay for it? You. Whether in your electric bill or in your gas bill, and I promise you it adds up. So wash everything in cold. Back in the day, the soaps never worked for just cold water wash, but I think pretty much now everything is made to be washed in cold water. I'm probably pretty sure, because it's been some time. So cold water. So whenever you're doing laundry, no matter what it's on, like this one is set to tap cold, but if I go over to this one, which is the normal wash, it goes automatically to warm. So I want to click that down to tap cold, not just cold, tap cold for me. The coldest, because I just want it coming out of the tap. I don't want to have to do anything different, because it's going to cost me extra money to do it more. Now, the only thing I would use hot water for is diapers. I did cloth diapers for years, and I would do a cold water rinse to get all the stuff out of there, and then I would wash them in hot water. So I would definitely use hot water for washing, because you want to sanitize all that stuff, and then the cold water for rinsing. It just worked good for that. That kind of works better that way. It helps with the sanitizing. So hot water is the only reason I would use that for. If not, it's always on tap cold. So think cold water, because you're paying for the other stuff, and your laundry will be fine. We've done laundry for many, many years, and they've come out just great. Never had issues. Just cold water saves you money. Now there is a whole lot of settings on here. I know for this washer in particular, it has normal, whites, towels, bulky, sanitize, power clean, quick wash, delicates, cold wash, activewear, rinse and spin. There are so many on here, and I'm always like, what do we do? Do you know the most often used one that we use pretty much for everything? Because from our day-to-day work is like in the home, homeschooling. We're not really getting that dirty, not that smelly. Just need a normal wash. We put everything on quick wash over here. Quick wash right here. This is about just 20 minutes because it's marked off. I gotta change this. If I do cold, and then I always change this to a normal soil and a high spin. So your soil level, so cold, you have the temperature. Temperature is what kind of water you're paying for more. Soil level is how dirty your clothes are. If you have extra light, that means they're not very dirty. So if we have light, normal, heavy, and extra heavy, if it was like work clothes, my husband working at a factory, that kind of stuff, I would do extra heavy. But on a regular day-to-day basis, it's normal. So we usually put on quick wash and normal. Our wash is done in 30 minutes. That's just simple. If you put it on like a normal wash over here, it changes the temperature. Let me change temperature to cold, but it goes to an extra 55 minutes, even though it's normal and medium spin. Medium high spin is going to be fine. The only time you're going to worry about spin is if you have heavy items like towels and rugs and bigger heavy duty things. If you have it on a lower spin, it spins slower. So then the water's not going to come out. If you do, if you have light things like a lot of nicer dresses, sweaters, and you do a high spin or max, it could stretch it out. So you want to keep it at like, I say For myself, everything goes in the dryer, so we put it on high because we want to get all the water out. It's the more water, it's going to take more time to dry. So think of that. So that's how your spin cycle wants to go. But see how that changed that to 56 minutes? That's going to be extra laundry. And whites, you might think, oh, whites, I should put it over there. Well, that's an extra hour to wash. But I was doing diapers, things like that, I would do that. The only other thing we do sometimes is we do like our towels even. We don't even do our towels on that. We do our quick wash for towels. That works fine. Bulky bedding, sometimes I do that because there is, if I have a bigger comforter in here, especially the kids' bedding's more like a twin bedding, I can just do quick wash on that. That's no big deal. But if you have a big fluffy comforter, I will do the bulky bedding because it is bigger. It will go a little bit longer and help clean it a little bit easier. So for the most part, that's what we use for all of it. You know what I mean? We don't, delicates, if you had something small, cold wash, which we use all the time anyways, is, I don't even know if cold wash is the same time, is it? No, it's actually longer for an hour. So we just do quick wash. So, and if you just had to rinse something, you can do a rinse and spin on here. So a little tip, if you have rinse and spin, let's say it's something soaked, you just need to spin it, take off the extra rinse and it would just spin. I know, I just figured that out myself. So however that looks for you, it's easy, but just keep it basic. Just kind of look at it for a minute. It's like one of those things where you look at a washer and it looks overwhelming with all the gizmos, gizmos and gadgets and selection. Just look for simple. Like normal, it's going to be longer. Quick, just a quick wash. Quick wash is fine for most everything. And then make sure your temperature is cold, your soil level is normal, and your spin is always high because less water is less drying time. Now, when you go to fill your washing machine in here, don't overstuff your washing machine. So you want to make sure that your clothes have room to move in your washer. So this is not going to fill it up very much. But if I were to fill this all the way, with the exception of bedding sometimes seems like it takes up the whole thing, and that's where you're going to make sure you do your bulky bedding because it's going to, you know, make sure you clean it real good. But if you're just shoving this full, like all the way around, and there's not any kind of room to move, your laundry is not going to move very much. So even in, this is the front loader, but even the top loader, if you shove it so full, there's gonna be no room for stuff to move. So it needs to, like in here, it tumbles. So it's gonna have to move to clean. In the top ones, it spins and agitates back and forth. So you wanna be able to make the laundry move. So about 3/4 full for your laundry, and then you're good. Now, all laundry machines are different. We have a spot right here where you open it up and inside we pour, so for ours, on top, you have a drawer right here, and this is where we put our laundry detergent. So in ours, we have a smart dispenser. We fill this up and we keep this full all the time. It tells us on the smart dispense is auto. That means it's on. I can turn it down to do a little bit off, less detergent, more, and auto as well. It's usually always on auto because we use that. So that just stays full. I don't have to worry about adding soap, but if we wanted to add bleach to it, we can. Fabric softener, which we don't use because it's just a waste of money. And then this is if you have any detergent in here. But if I add extra stuff like OxiClean, I can put that in there. So if you don't have like a place to add it, so look on your washer. If you don't have a place to add it, and when you before you put your clothes in, put your soap in. So if you have, put it in the bottom. If you have a pod, put the pod in the bottom. If you have liquid, put a liquid in the bottom and then put your clothes in. That's gonna help wash your clothes a whole lot better. And if you have one of the top loaders where it goes in the top, make sure you put it in evenly. If you have towels, don't just shove them in a ball in one corner. Like kind of space them around it, because otherwise it's gonna, when it starts spinning, it's gonna be off balance. And in a front loader like this, you don't have to worry about it, but the top one you do, because it'll spin and it just gets stuck. So if you kind of lay out the pant legs, lay out the towels, it works a whole lot better. So just some tips to do. Does it matter what kind of soap to use? No, I've used the cheap soap my whole life and it's been just fine. If you want to spend a lot of money, go ahead. I think laundry is all about preference. So we just use the store brand. We use Members Mark laundry detergent. When you put in here on your cup, it tells you how much to add. Pretty much now they're getting smarter where they let you know that you can use way less than you actually use, because back in the day you used to have to use a whole cup of it, and then it kind of got around that, yeah, you don't need that soap, just a little bit, couple tablespoons, that's all you need. And then they have the pods. That's easy. That's another way, just to throw them in and do it. The pods do cost more than the soap, but they are easier to not have to have a big giant jug to have to lift and move and put in. It is easier, convenience, however that works. Now, other extra things like bleach, yeah, to use bleach, you don't, again, it's only if you're gonna be bleaching white clothes, if you have white clothes to do that. I have OxiClean, but I don't use it that often because I don't like it that often. And then laundry softener, we don't use softeners. Let me teach you a little fun fact here. Softener, when you put it in your clothing, in your washer, it coats your like when you put it to your dryer, it coats your dryer. Laundry softener it coats your kids' clothing. I remember reading an article about it when you're for when I had little kids, and it talked about it makes their pajamas, things like that, more resistant to flame and fire if they had an accident, because they're coated with that. So that's what happens to your dryer as well. Same thing with dryer sheets. I used them for a little bit there, and if you put those in there, it just coats everything. So all your clothes are just getting coated. So your choice too. We don't deal with static like at all. And I know people use it because they deal with static. We don't have that issue in our stuff. I've had it, like there's a couple seasons where I'll go through and I'm like, oh, there's static in here, but not often where it is for a long time. So I know you can use vinegar if you want to help with that. However that looks, the little beads, we've had the beads that you put in your washer because people want their laundry smelling better. Again, it's whatever you want to do in your home. We've used the wool balls, we've used different things, but you can just use laundry soap. It works just fine, I promise. Skip all the fancy stuff for now. When you can afford extras, go ahead and get yourself some vanilla scent crystals. Whatever you want to have in your days, but this simple and easy, it'll wash your clothes and be good. Okay, after washing becomes drying time. Here's your dryer. Okay, the number one rule for your dryer that you want to make sure that you do, because if you don't, it can make a fire in your home, and it does happen. You want to make sure your dryer vent is empty. Now, some people do it every single load, and that's probably the best option to do as a homemaker and a wife and busy mom. Like, that did not happen every single time, so I would let mine accumulate for a little bit. We have 6, how many people do we have? We have 7 people in our household doing laundry. For each week, we empty our dryer vent at least twice a week. So I have it on, it's part of the chore list. Somebody comes in and they clean that dryer vent. You want to make sure that your dryer vent is clean, because if not, I know when we bought our old house, they did a test and there was a whole huge, for the inside the dryer, from the dryer vent outside to the outside of the house, with this humongous long, their tube was just full of dryer lint, and that will cause a fire. So what you can do is get, I would recommend cleaning this out on a regular basis. And then maybe a few times a year, we've done where in the back we've taken a leaf blower and blown it so it shoots out outside. You can get like a snake broom type thing to kind of clean the vent out. You can go outside to clean it in. You want to clean that out because it does accumulate with dryer lint, and it can spark for a fire. So make sure you do that. And then you know what I do for myself in our old house, I didn't like doing it because I didn't have a basket by my washing machine. It was like the trash was like completely away from it, so I had to carry it with me, and I'm always carrying something else. So I did. You know what I bought? A lint bin. This was a great purchase on Amazon. See that on the wall right there? It was like, I'm gonna say $12-15. That's the best thing. If you're starting out, I don't usually recommend buying too many things. I would recommend buying that, because what you can do with that is, I have my nail tool wall here, but in my old house, what I could do is stick it on the side of my washer. I had space, and it has a big magnet on it. It sticks on the side of your washer. Genius, or dryer, not washer. That saves you. So you're more apt to change it and clean it if there's a place to put the lint right away. And then we use that lint when we go to start fires outside, because we lived in the mountains and it was very wet, and it would always have a hard time starting fires. So we use that, and here in Florida, same thing. The humidity is really high, so it's always really hard to start fires. So we use the lint to start, and that is a good way to do it. So make sure that this is clean. Take this out, get yourself a brush, and go inside there. Those are something that I recommend you do religiously, and do not forget to do that, because that is so important. That will accumulate. So for your dryer, we put everything in here. Again, there is 1,000 settings on this dryer, and you're like, not 1,000, but just a lot of settings. Like, what do you do? For us, we do use the dryer settings. If it's cottons, mostly shirts, towels, bulky bedding, quick dry, however that looks. If it's just like nicer clothes, we do like a permanent press over there. But most dryers nowadays sense when your clothes are dry. Most of them, even this one, will do it, and then it's like, it'll say it's dry, and it's not actually dry. So we have to make sure that we're on the right setting of it. So I'll see the little, I'm doing a video here, and I see that this is coated down here with, yeah, look at that. See, I just put a bunch of that on there. So you want to make sure this is clean too. So find out what the best setting is on your dryer. Sometimes, I know if they're simple, just, if it's more heavier stuff like jeans and towels, it's going to need a little bit longer. If it's lighter stuff, you can do it a little bit less. So that's going to just depends on your clothing option, what you have in there. So for myself, If I put laundry in there, I don't put anything in there that I want wrinkled. I just hang it all up. We don't have any like shirts that you have to iron. Maybe you have ironed clothes. I don't. I buy the wrinkle-free shirts. And so what I do as soon as they come out of the washer, we hang those all up. So I don't even have to worry about that. I have to worry about them sitting in the dryer and getting wrinkled and going, oh, I didn't take that out in time. They do have settings on here where you can de-wrinkle, which is kind of nice nowadays. This even has where you can wash and dry. So if you throw it in at nighttime and go to sleep, you can wake up, it'll be washed and it'll be dry. Not a big load, but like if you had an outfit you had to wear, that's kind of nice without having to switch it. So again, they have lots of great settings, but we just put like our towels in here. I'll turn on towels and just start it. This will sense when it's done and it shuts off. So I'm not worried about that. Again, it's however your situation. Drying is one of those things that it just has to dry. There's not really a way around making it better. If you use a higher setting or a lower setting, it's just, if you use lower setting, it's going to take longer. If you use higher setting, it's going to take less time. So it just depends on your thing. If you can hang things outside, that is even better, but it depends on your where you live and the pollen in your area. We lived in the mountains and we had really high pollen. We lived in Michigan for one, and I hung out everything. There was times I opted not to buy a dryer because I was like, I can just hang everything up, and I did, and we lived that way for a long time. It was easy just to hang dresses. We took all our towels and blankets and just put them on a clothesline. That worked out that way, and we had a big drying rack that we hung like socks, underwear, and diapers on, and that worked for us there. Then we moved to the mountains, and we had clotheslines installed because I'm like, oh, I can't put so much in my dryer. It's going to take forever. So we would put them on the clothesline where they would sit outside for days, because it was so humid outside. So that didn't work very good. It worked good to put things out in the wintertime, and I was able to hang towels and blankets. I would do that to save money. But here in Florida, I know we're not supposed to. I know there's like laws that says you can have a clothesline in the back. We don't have a clothesline. But again, there is a lot of pollen and stuff. And so I'll put towels, rugs, that kind of stuff out there. Sometimes I'll put a couple of blankets, but for the most part, we just put it in the dryer here in our stage in life. But if I had to save some money, I for sure would be putting something out there to dry stuff, because it does get nice and hot and it would dry it really quick. So just make sure you take it out. If you want anything hung up, hang it up. That's what I always say. And the jeans, the pants, if you've already had a shirt that's gone through the dryer a million times and it hasn't shrunk, don't even worry about it. It'll be just fine in there. So dryer. Let me show you a little tip about if you do hang clothes on a clothesline. Okay, so get yourself some clothesline, hang it between two trees if you want to. If you can get an awesome little like clothesline outside, great. But if not, just get yourself some rope. It's like $3, tie it around the tree. Know that whatever weight you put on it, it's going to pull it down, so the rope is going to hang down much more than when you originally installed it. So I, for one, would take it and put it on one tree, make sure that it's up pretty high, tie it around, make sure it's up enough so it doesn't pull down, slide down. And then the next one, I would pull the string so tight and I'd wrap it around the tree a few times. And then I would go to the next one, because and then I'd wrap again. That's how I hung my clotheslines. And so, but what happened is she started hanging, they sag. So then I would go to the tree, I'd pull that rope, and I'd have to go to the other one and pull, make it tight, and then tie it at the end. Again, I don't know if many of you guys do that, but if you do that and get yourself some clothespins. I liked the simple wooden clothespins. The plastic ones were great. They were nice because they didn't get moldy, but they did break easily, and then you're kind of out. The wooden ones you could always kind of fix. So you would you take a towel at the corner, hang it, then you would get your next towel. Okay, so you hold that with your hand, then you get your other towel, and the end of the towel, you would put them real close together and snap them together. So then they were kind of overlapping just a little bit, but not too much. If you put too much, they wouldn't dry. So if you just did the very corner, then you did the same thing with the next one, the other end, and then you'd have the other one put together and snap it together with the clothespin. That would use less clothespins. Washcloths, we hung with one. Sometimes I do washcloths I used to do them in the mountains on a hanger. I take my hanger and I take a clothespin on top and hang the washcloths across it, and then we hang that outside the whole thing. That uses up less space. Jeans, I would recommend hanging them by their feet and then clothespinning them at the top so they can hang to dry. Shirts, hang from the bottom up, not the top, because it would leave marks up here. So hang from the bottom and just fold over real gently on the clothesline and hang them up. So lots of good ways you can hang laundry up and save yourself a whole lot of money. It will save you, I promise you, in your overall budget. That's a huge saver, because this right here uses up a lot of electricity and gas or propane to dry clothes. So think investing in a clothesline. That's a good thing. Okay, step number 6, folding and putting away. Now, folding isn't just for neatness. It keeps clothes in better conditions and helps your mornings go a little bit better because you don't have to search for everything. But there are some ways you can get around it, because I do not like to fold clothes. I do not like to fold towels. I don't like to do any of that. If I could just throw it all in there, the easier for me. But you're gonna have to do it for some things. So what I would do, this is all you, mama, doing the laundry yourself, I would get yourself a basket for each child or for each bedroom. We had a girls' room, we had a boys' room, and then we had like the teenagers' room. So and then my husband and I, but my husband had work clothes, so I had 2 baskets, one for myself and one for him. So in those baskets, when I did laundry, like I would do all the white, so I'd throw it all in the washer, throw it in the dryer. The dryer would come out and I'd take the laundry and I'd sort it into whose basket it was. Now, this is all clothes that I don't have to worry about being wrinkled. If it was something that had to be hung up before it went in the dryer, it got hung up. So the dresses, my girls all wear dresses when they're little, so all those got hung up. So I didn't have to worry about those. So it was like leggings, underclothes, socks, and it all got put in everybody's basket that way. So that worked good for me. So now when I was going to put laundry away, all right, I'm going to take the girls' laundry. So I grabbed the girls, or had a child grab it. Take the girls' basket to their room, and then in there I grabbed the hangers, the clothing, the dresses that were drying, and we take it, hang them up, and then we put their clothes away in the dresser. I didn't fold underwear. I didn't fold socks. Leggings, longer leggings I would, shorter leggings I would not. Pajamas thrown in there as well. I did not fold any of those. I know, I did not. And they survived. Now the boys, I'd go to the boys' room, and the boys' socks, underwear, didn't fold. Their shirts, we would hang up all of our shirts. So that worked. When they were little, I would just fold those. Fold them, and pants, fold them, shorts, fold them, because it was just easier that way. It wasn't like a big long process to do. So you don't have to fold completely, but it does help to obviously have a little bit of neatness. But underwear and socks, you don't need to worry about that. We put our socks together. We did for a little bit, and then I got smarter and bought for the girls and for the boys, we bought different colors for each one, so I knew who got which one. So like if you this works if you have multiple kids too, like especially like underwear. Okay, if you have I had a one, well, two, I'll say about 1.5, 2-year-old, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old. Okay, if you got like if you have a 2T underwear, a 3T underwear, 4T underwear, sometimes it's really hard to figure out which ones are which, especially if you buy the bikini in brief mode. If you buy bikini in like a 3, sometimes it looks like a brief in 2. So it just is very hard. I would always look and I'd be like, whose underwear are all these? And so when you're doing that multiple times and a whole bunch of stuff, it gets stressful. So you know what I did, moms? You know what I did? Buy different brands of underwear for each child, especially when they're close in age, if you can. Like say Fruit of the Loom is one. Okay, they're gonna have certain colors for their style. So in my head, I'd know that the beachy colors were the toddlers. And then the next one I'd go to, I'm gonna say Hanes. I don't even know what the other ones are, Hanes. And then those were maybe all solid colors. Okay, so I knew that that was gonna be the next child. So think different brands for that, because usually Fruit of the Loom is gonna use all the same ones for all their sizes. And so you're gonna get stuck and go, what, whose is this? That was something that took me forever to figure out. Or we would do like the kids would get their favorite character underwear. So we'd make sure Disney Princess was one. One was Mickey Mouse or whoever. I'm trying to think of the different kinds of underwear. Dora underwear, and then it was like Disney Princess underwear. That was very helpful in being able to separate easily, because that's an issue. That is an issue when you have a lot of kids. And socks the same way. We bought certain brands for certain kids. And even now in my household, my kids are all teenagers, and there are socks that come up and I'm like, whose sock is this? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, whose sock? Well, no big deal. I could just put it away, right? But the problem is I have to keep buying socks for kids when they run out. So I make sure I know that this person has Adidas socks with white. That's one child's. The other child gets all black ones that are ankle socks. The other child gets all white, no show socks. And so I know who has which socks. So when they come up showing like in the house missing, I'm like, I know those are your socks. So that is very helpful to identify, and make sure you get the same socks, especially if you're doing a whole lot of kids, because that's an issue. It's a big issue and big of a struggle. So those are some tips for sorting and putting those away easily. Now, the great way to save some time for yourself if you have a lot of kids is getting your kids to do the laundry themselves. Now, for us in our earlier marriage and when life is a little bit tougher and you're trying to save every cent you can, for us, we had the drum washer where you fill up with a whole lot of water. It used a lot of electricity and that was a lot of money. And soap, you gotta pay for all that. So if I had every child doing their own laundry, it cost me more because they were running smaller loads, they were using soap, that kind of thing. So in the beginning, I did mostly all the laundry. Everybody helped put everything away, but we just did it all together because we were saving money. So you gotta choose what you do now. For myself now, everybody does pretty much Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does their own laundry now. So I might come down and just flip a load over, have them bring it down and I throw it in. But everybody does their own now, and I'm not worried about it because the washer is efficient, the dryer is efficient, the soap is automatic, so I don't have to worry about how much to add to the laundry and like anybody wasting it. So again, if you're trying to save a buck, do it all yourself, because then you can be in control of how much is used, where you're doing. But if you're overwhelmed with a whole lot, get your kids to learn how to do it. Show them how to do it properly and it'll be good. And if you're a mom of little ones, don't worry, mamas. It is not going to be like this forever. I promise. Those kids, they're going to grow up and they're going to help you, and your life is going to become easier. I promise. I have lived through that. I have had all the kids, every age. My kids are about 1.5 to 2 years apart, the last 6. So they are real close in age. So I've had that whole bunch in a row. I've had the three in diapers. I'll say, do we have 4 in diapers? No, I don't think we have 4 in diapers. 3 in diapers with maybe a 4th nighttime one. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you know what? It does get better. I promise. My kids are all grown up. The youngest is 12 now. I'm still here. I'm still here, and I made it. I'm still able to keep moving and function in life. So I'm just here to help and encourage you when you're in the throes of all this work and everything that's going on. So it does get better, and they will help. You be consistent with it. Don't worry about, like, if it's more stress to have your toddler in preschool put the laundry away, then don't have them do it. But you know what? Have them put away. My thought was, here, you guys put away your own stuff in your drawers. That I don't care if it's folded or not. If you are meticulous about wanting everything folded and perfectly, then don't have a preschooler do it, because it's not going to turn out good. So if you are okay with them making a mess, let them do it. I would always say, here, put your stuff away. They throw it in their drawers. And what I've found, people say, well, then your kids are going to grow up and be messy. No. I've done that with all my kids. I've never, I'm not a neat person, put laundry away, and that's fine. And guess what? I have some that love folding their clothes and putting things away, and I have some that don't care, and whatever. They're still functioning adults and doing well. So however that looks in your house, don't worry about it. And then I didn't even talk about towels. We would have, when you have a lot of little kids and you're doing baths all the time, I would get 1 towel per kid. I would do that, and I would get a place and we had a bar put up. This is what we did in the beginning, because it was crude and easy. It was cheap, just 1 piece of wood, and then we had screws put in it. Yeah, that's what we used, screws in it. And it wasn't a static, no, it wasn't. And then I'd hang, after I got their bath was done, we hung their towel on the hook, and we had another one and another one. So I knew at bath time, that towel for that child, that was their towel. That worked for us. We had a person that monogrammed their names on their towels, and so that worked out really nice. And so they were able to, like, the purple one was this child, the green one was this child, and so we knew whose were whose. Once a week we'd wash everything, but they were here for the most part on the rack. That worked out really well. Less is best. Way less mess and way less to have to take care of. So think 1 per child, and just wash once a week. You're good to go. Okay, so here are some bonus tips for good stewardship of your laundry. Let me tell you one thing that I probably failed at. Yeah, I think I failed at, that I try to teach my kids, and also with my husband, teach them to empty their pockets before they put their clothes in the dirty laundry. Yes. We have washed so many things over the years. Me as the wife, I don't check pockets. I just don't. I washed my husband's wallet. I know how to dry a wallet really well. I know that money can go through the washer and get clean. You can put it in the microwave and dry it. Yes, you can. This is before cards, so I know that works. But we've had electronic devices go in there. Kids' iPods go in the washer. And so not very often does that happen, but it does happen. And so if you're busy, one of those things, like my mom always emptied everybody's pants. She would check every single pocket before I went in the washer. So I guess I never was taught, myself, I empty my own. Yes, I've had things go through there before. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm not one to check everybody's laundry, and I just won't do that. So if you throw your iPod in there, this was iPods, they're gonna go through the washer. That happens, and so it doesn't happen very often. And so I think as somebody made that mistake, they didn't make that mistake twice. They always check their pockets beforehand. So teach your kids, when they put things in there, empty their pockets. Now we still do laundry. I think the other day something came through and it was a meat stick, and it was in a package, and I was like, ooh, somebody's meat stick is in the dryer there. So I'm like, whose is that? So things do go through, that we've had things go in where a marker or whatever, when they were little, and it got through and it ruined everybody's laundry. And that's always a very disappointing, highly disappointing thing when somebody throws something in there, it gets in the laundry. So we don't make that mistake too often, but it does happen. So teach them to just make sure they empty before they put it away. That'll be a huge, huge saver. It does happen. Again, things are going to happen. We've ruined many clothes. Yes, we have. That way, but life. So teach them to empty their pockets. Aprons. Aprons save on laundry. They really, really do. There was way back in the day, before internet, before everything was out there, you couldn't like Walmart didn't sell aprons. So it was like hard to find. You had to buy it specially. Somebody had to sew one for you. This is way back when I first started homemaking. So all my shirts right here were stained. Most every single one, because that was where the water hit. That was where the dirt was. It just happened. There was all like oil, like almost like oil, you know, like grease stains from things that splatter on things. So all my shirts had stains here. So then the apron came into play, and I'm like, genius. Now you can go get an apron at Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx for like $12, $15, and they're great. So get yourself an apron that will save your clothes lots and lots of work, because you just throw that in the laundry versus your clothes getting dirty over, I promise. And let me teach you a trick. If you have something that has a stain in it, okay, I always tell my kids, if you wash your clothes and it's got stains on it, don't put it in the dryer. As soon as you put it in the dryer, it sets that stain. It's not impossible, but it's gonna be very hard to get off, very hard. So what I always recommend is taking it out of the washer and sometimes going back and using a little bit of dish soap and scrubbing it. See if it comes out. It may not. You know, one of nature's best things to kind of bleach and kind of take care of stains, the sunshine. I have had many clothing that had stains on it. It would not come out. I just put it out in the sun, the direct sun, let the sun go on it. Lots of stuff, not even white stuff, colored stuff, light colored stuff. And it kind of bleached that stain gone. Yeah, I promise you. So try that. If you've got something, try scrubbing with a little bit of dish soap. Sometimes like just having like a blue dish soap kind of gets that out of there. Like laundry soap sometimes doesn't, so dish soap does. And then stick it outside the sun. You'd be surprised how much that just bleaches and takes care of the stain. It really, really does work. I always tell my kids, and I'm like, ooh, that's bad. Go put it out in the sunshine. They're like, Mom, it's like a blue shirt. I'm like, go put it in the sunshine. You'd be surprised. And miraculously, it just disappears. It's a very natural way to get rid of stains. And odors as well. If you got some stinky something, like stinky shoes, maybe you got some stinky shirt that just, I don't know. You never know. It could be really bad. Put it out in the sun. The sun does something. It just bleaches. You know how the sun does for us? It makes us feel amazing. It does the same thing for clothing. You'd be so surprised. You got something that's pretty stinky, stick it outside. It'll get rid of that as well. And I always think less detergent is what you need. Now, back in the day, they give you these cups. They tell you to fill the entire cup up. And you're like, wow, that's a lot of soap. Do you know, now it's labeled. I see that 5 is up here. It's about halfway. So if I had a huge, huge load, I probably would do about there. You can get away with just a little bit. Look at this little pot. Look how much soap is in there. That's not too much. I know this is probably a little bit more concentrated, but not really. So you'd be surprised, the little bit of soap. I remember back in the day, it was more like just a couple tablespoons you put in your laundry. It does just fine. We have the automatic dispenser, and we don't have to fill it up very often at all. Maybe once a week, and we do a lot of laundry. So think less soap. You would be surprised how nice your laundry turns out. All right, so laundry is one of those tasks that is never, ever, ever gonna go away. So I hope that I've given you some insight, maybe just some tips that maybe you didn't even know about doing laundry, that maybe will help you. Maybe your first time trying to do your laundry because no one taught you that. That is okay. That is why I'm here to share with you, so that you can learn how to do your laundry in an easy, simple way. Remember, for all these tasks that you're doing, all these things that you're learning new, it's you're learning and you're growing. You are actually taking an interest in your life to learn some real life skills, because laundry is very important. You'd be surprised how many people don't know how to do their laundry. I promise you there's a lot. So you're taking initiative to do that. So that's a good thing. So set yourself up a little routine, laundry routine, and do your laundry every single week at that same time. You will not be behind on laundry. You won't be behind when you have to get up for work on Monday and go, oh, I didn't do my laundry, because you already know the day that you're going to do everything. So link below, I'm going to give you a couple freebies just to help set up some different ways that you can do your laundry system. And then also, this also is part of my book, Large Family Mothering. I'm going to give you the whole book this whole year. We're taking out a chapter a week and talking about it. So I'm going to give you this chapter linked below as well. You can read through it and just kind of see how we did laundry back in the day with little kids, to give you some insight on things. But it's all about a helpful tool, and here's some things for you to use. So use it free. There's no excuse not to be able to do it, because all of it is handed free of charge, and you can just do it yourself and learn and do better for your life. And remember, your laundry routine is going to look different than my laundry routine. Everybody's life is different. You got to find what works best for you. If it works best for you to do laundry twice a week, then do laundry twice a week. If you find you run out of towels in your kitchen, then do them more often. That's the key. Not when you're like, oh, I'm out of towels. Whenever you know that you're going to get low, then plan for it so that you can do it a couple days a week, so you're on top and you're ready to rock and roll and have everything ready to go. So, all right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. You have a fantastic rest of your day. See you again tomorrow with another video. Okay, see ya. Bye.